guys, my name is Melody Hames. I'm also known as a horse barber, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about key points for success within the equine industry. The reason I've put this video together is because I recently attended one of the local equine colleges and the students found this information really useful. So I wanted to pop this together in a video that I could post online for all my budding horse barbers out there. This is the sheet that I used at the college that I'm going to be going through with you today. And it is Key Points for Success in the Equine Industry with Melody Hames. On this sheet I've included key points for success, and I've also included key points that can lead to failure. The reason why I've included both is because sometimes things aren't as obvious as what you would think that they are. So I'm going to go straight in with the first point, and the very first point that I've put on my list is making sure that everything that you do is for the benefit of the horse first and foremost. That underpins everything. If you're not working for the benefit of the horse, really you haven't got a foundation to stand on at all. Everything has to be done for the benefit of the horse. It's morally correct. It will set you up for success. If what you're doing hasn't got the horse at the forefront of your mind, it's not going to work. It's as simple as that. It's like a law of attraction, really. If you're doing something for your own benefit and not the horse, it's not coming from like a pure place, pure intention. So for that reason, it's not going to be successful. The next point on my list, identify your strengths and what you enjoy versus what you feel obliged to do. So some people will be better at show jumping, dressage, riding. Some people will be better handling from the ground. They might not be the strongest rider, but they might have a real eye and talent, natural talent and ability to empathise and create a connection from the ground with the horse. Of course, it's great to do that as a rider as well, but some people's strengths really are from the ground with the horse, and that's okay. We don't all have to be fantastic, confident riders to be successful with horses. I myself personally like to ride, but I wouldn't describe myself as the bravest rider. You know, I'm not necessarily out there winning trophies and rosettes. However, I have got a successful business in the equine industry and a great connection with horses. So don't beat yourself up too much if you're not the strongest rider, I guess is what the point that I'm coming from that. It's important to identify your strengths. So for me, I know that I have a lot of patience for horses in general. My strength within my business is the fact that I am able to exercise patience with horses. Also, it's what you enjoy doing. For some reason, I absolutely love, it's quite therapeutic for me, my job. I love to see the end result when I have finished clipping a horse. I get 1000% job satisfaction for what I do. So it's important when you're finding your niche or finding your way, think about what really drives you. Some people are really driven by ridden aspects. Some people really enjoy the process of plaiting and turnout. So it's really about honing in on what gives you a lot of job satisfaction. For example, farriers, they will get a lot of job satisfaction out of correcting the shape of a hoof, for example, or the angle or the way they fit the shoes. It's impossible to work in this industry successfully if you don't absolutely love and adore what you do. I think that's really important to just spend a moment thinking about what aspect of the equine industry you really enjoy. Going on to the next point, provide a solution to a problem. For example, a hairy horse, provide the solution to remove the hair in a stress-free way for the ease of the owner. So it's from getting from A to B. So if you want to set up a business in the equine industry or be successful with your own horse in the equine industry, it's about providing a solution and getting from A to B in the smoothest way possible, stress-free. From a business aspect, you're providing a service and making something easier for the horse owner or for the horse itself. So really, it's literally thinking about the solution and getting from point A to point B. So for example, with my business, people struggle to shave their own horses, or they have a problem. The horse is too hot, the horse is too hairy. They aren't sure how to clip it. They want to learn how to clip it. So that's their problem. So I provide the solution to get them from A to B as stress-free as possible and smoothly. So that's what I would say about setting up specifically a business. You're providing solution to a problem and identify what area you want to do that in. Now I'm going to look at key points for failure, which is really equally as important in this. So if you're obsessing over the income aspect and forgetting the why of what you're doing. So what I'm trying to say in this is, if you're obsessing over the financial gain and putting that before the reason why you're doing what you're doing, that is absolutely going to lead to failure, because while you're putting the aspect of getting paid, that's going to cloud your judgment in the moment with any horse that stood in front of you, and it's going to apply pressure in all the wrong places, in all the wrong ways, and you're not going to be able to keep focused on the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Always keep forefront of your mind why you're doing what you're doing. So for example, with me and horses, if I feel like this horse that stood in front of me is not going to benefit from this clip, or the why it's being clipped doesn't quite sit right with me, I will get to the bottom of that before I will even think about clipping the horse and being paid to do the job. I will walk away from a job if ethically it's not correct or the why doesn't sit right, versus clipping the horse anyway to get paid. Really crucial, to be honest. If you start putting financial aspects of it in front of the reason why you're doing what you're doing, then you're definitely going to be, sooner or later, you're going to fail at what you do, because it's not balanced. So the next point on my list is getting caught up in the past or the future and not being present in the moment. So what I mean by that is, if I go and clip a horse tomorrow and I'm thinking about the horse I clipped yesterday or the horse I'm going to clip next week, that's going to cloud my judgment, and I'm not going to be successful at matching the horse's energy that's in front of me. So I'm not able to give the horse that stood in front of me my full attention. So it's about treating every horse as an individual and being really present in the moment with that horse. If I'm thinking about yesterday's problems or problems of tomorrow, or stressing about what maybe went wrong last week, or try to remember that in the moment you're working with a brand new horse, and don't carry last week's or yesterday's baggage with you, because the horse will pick up on your energy, and ultimately you can end up bringing that into your reality by thinking about yesterday. So treat every individual horse and be present with it in the moment, because you can only give them your full attention and do them justice if you are in the moment. Just try not to hold on to yesterday's baggage or tomorrow's. On the next sheet, I put together a couple of quotes that I wanted to convey to the students last week. One of the most common things that you will hear me say is hard work pays off. I am a massive believer that hard work does pay off. It's absolutely true. It's impossible for hard work not to pay off, even if it takes time. If you're willing to put the work in and the hours, you will be successful within the equine industry. The next one that I put together here, well, it's actually a common quote. It's not my words, but it's something that I stand by. Necessity is the mother of invention, and I include that because people ask me how I ended up with my clipping business, and it was literally out of necessity. People needed horses clipping. I was at uni and I needed to earn some money, and literally that's where it was born. It was the necessity, really. And then of course I absolutely loved doing it, combined with a passion for horses and art and design, that the idea was born, and the business really succeeded and took off, because ultimately it's a necessity. The same way that farriers might shoe horses and clip horses' hooves, it's a necessity because those horses' hooves grow, and it is a necessity that we tend to their needs. So yeah, often at the root of anything that we do, it's because there's a necessity underneath it. I also talked to the students in the session about working on, so to help them develop their place within the equine industry, I asked them to spend a little bit of time thinking about what makes them happy and how they would describe themselves and what their position is within the equine industry. So I did set them a task of what's known as a positioning statement. For example, I'm going to share mine now, and I'd like you to think about where you stand and what your positioning statement might be within the equine industry. I'm going to read mine out to you now. The Horse Barber Melody Hames helps equestrians go from feeling overwhelmed and daunted when it comes to clipping to confident and assertive in their approach by developing their knowledge of horse clipping practices and overall horsemanship skills. So really my positioning is telling people what I bring to the table and what problems that I can solve for them. So for anybody that's thinking about working in the equine industry, have a little think about your positioning statement and what you bring to the table. Hopefully some of the points that I've covered in this video will help you build a foundation for a successful equine business. Well, because I know it's actually not always easy to know what you want. So if you feel like you sat there and you're not sure, what you can do is list 3 things that you don't want, because this can be equally as valuable in your journey if you vision what you don't want. Even if you're not sure what you want, I'm pretty sure you know what you don't want, so make a list of those as well. Another point that I've included in the worksheet for the students was this: sharing what you have to offer brings more back to you. By keeping it to yourself, you will eventually run out. So in order to be successful in what you do, you need to share your talent, you need to share what it is that you do with other people. If you try and keep everything to yourself, then eventually you will run out, because we all need each other to be successful and to grow, and to harbour and keep possession of things eventually leads to you becoming stagnant and not having anything left to give anymore. It might sound a bit crazy and a bit out there, but it's a pretty much, I'd say, one of the key factors that I've discovered during my working industry. What's really important for me, I think I've realised in the past sort of year specifically, everything that we do doesn't really belong to us. A good example of this is the fact that people have been clipping horses since at least the 1800s and pre-war times. So the clipping industry, we aren't unique in that sense of we didn't begin clipping, we don't own clipping, but each one of us can bring something to the table within the equine clipping industry. Thank you for joining me today. I really hope you found this video useful. If you'd like this worksheet, just pop me a message and I'll make sure you get a copy. Thank you very much. Bye bye.